Hello students, welcome to the session on class methods in Python. So we'll start with the delete method, that is del. This method is automatically called when the object is going out of the scope. This is the time when the object is no longer used and its occupied resources are returned back to the system, so that these resources can be reused again whenever required. Explicitly, if you want to call this method, then deletion can be done by using del keyword. Del method is invoked when the object is about to be destroyed. It is used to clean up the resources used so that the memory that is used can be reused again. So we'll see example of this delete method by using del keyword. So class definition is done here. One class variable is used and two class methods are there. That is, one is to initialize the class, that is init, and one is del. And here we have created three objects p1, p2, p3 of our class, and we are using this delete word, del keyword. So we'll start with our class. Here first class variable is assigned a value 0. Name of the variable is class underscore var. We are initializing our class. That is, first of all, we are initializing this variable. As it was initialized to 0, it is incremented by 1. Now this is a class variable. It will be reflected in other objects also. Now we are assigning the self.num to the num variable that we have received. This is object variable. Here we are printing the object value of num, and also we are printing the value of our class variable, that is this variable class underscore var. So when we'll first of all create this object p1, here we are passing value that is 100. So this value will be, as soon as we are creating object, it will be initialized. So while doing the initialization, first statement is we are assigning new value to our class variable, that is previously it was 0 and it is incremented by 1. So now class variable contains value 1. We are assigning self.num to the value num, that is object variable is assigned a value that is 100 now, as we are passing 100 over here. Here we are printing the object value is and value of a num. Value of num that we have received is 100, so it will display the object value is 100. Here we are printing the value of class variable is, and class variable is incremented by 1. Previously it was 0, so it will display 1 now. Once this is done, again we are creating new object that is p2 and we are passing value that is 200. Again it will be initialized. While initializing, the previous value is again incremented by 1. As this variable is a class variable, it will be reflected in other objects also. In previous object creation, the value was 1. So now once again we are incrementing it, so it will become 2 now. Value that we have passed here is 200, so it is initialized to self.num. Value of object variable we are printing, so it will print 200. And the class variable value will be printed here, that is 2. Same way we are passing 300, and here again it will be incremented by 1. So previously class variable was 2, so now it will become 3 and the object value is 300. So till here we are just initializing, or we have created the object and we have initialized by using init object. Now next line is del p1. So p1 object we want to delete it now. So what is written here? We have written that class variable we are decrementing by 1. So previously here it was 3. So now we are decrementing it by 1, that will become 2 now. And here we are printing the object value of %d is going out of scope. And the value that we want to print is num. So as we are deleting p1, for p1 value of num is 100, so it will print the object value 100 is going out of scope. Then again we are calling deleting P2, so it will display 200 is going out of the scope, and the P3 means the object value with value 300 is going out of scope. So this way we can delete the resources those are used by these objects. Next, some of the special methods are there. We'll start with the first method, that is REPR, that is this word is for representation. So for representation method, this method has an inbuilt function with syntax representation, that is a REPR, that is a rep object. It returns string representation of the object we are passing here. It will return string representation. This function works on any object, not only on class instances, but also on any object. Next special method is length, that is len. This method has also one inbuilt function with syntax len of object. It returns length of the object that we are passing here. Next method is compare, CMP. This method is used to compare two objects, that is two class objects. This function can compare any two Python objects using equalitas operator. So we'll see the example of this. So here class is defined. So we have defined one init class, then representation, length and compare. So we'll start with our main code. Here we are creating an object, and while creating an object of this class, first class, we are passing two parameters, that is one is a string ABCDEF and next is a value, that is number. So once we have created this object, this will be initialized now. So this will execute. What we are doing? We are assigning self.name to a variable name. That means self.name will be assigned the value of ABCDEF, and this self.num will be assigned to 100. These are object variables. Now here on the next line we want to print the value stored in object is, and here to the representation method we are passing P1. Once we are passing our object, this method will be executed. What we are writing here? Return representation of self.num. So what value we have passed in a number? That is 100. So the value stored in object is will be printed as 100, as we are returning representation of self.num. As where we want to return a number, that is, this will return us a string representation of our object. That is, it will return, as we are returning num, it will return 100. Now next is print the length of the name stored in the object is. So this string will be reprinted as it is still here is. Now we are calling this method, that is length, len p1 we are passing. So execution will go here, and what we are returning? We are returning length of the self.name. That is, we are returning length of the name variable. In a name variable, this string is there. It is having 6 characters, so it will return us 6. Now next line is, we are creating one more object P2, and we are passing one new string and value num as 1. And we want to compare, we are writing P1 dot compare P2. So we are passing P2 as an object. This will be received here. Self.num means our previous value, previous number was 100, and object.num means just that we have received a value as 1. So these two will be compared, 100 and 1. As both these are not equal, it will not display that both these are equal. As in num it is 100 and here it is 1, so it will return us a positive value, not the negative value. So it will display second value is less than the first. Next method is get item, and next one more method is set item. So this get item is used for indexing, getting the value at that index, and set means we want to assign a value to the indexed value. So we'll see the example of this getIn. So class, inside a class we have one init method, getItem and setItem. So here we are creating an object, and to the class we are passing this list of numbers from 11 to 19. So this list is initialized over here. So once this class we are initializing, this will be received here as a mylist, and we are initializing our self.mylist as this newly received list. Now we want to print obj of 5. So as we want to get the item at 5th location, so it will be done from here, self.mylist of index. Index we are passing is 5. So value at a 5th index will be returned over here. At 5th index, this value is at 0th index, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. At 5th index, value is 60, so 16 will be displayed. Now here we are assigning the value, that is we are setting the item at 4th index. At 4th index, we want to assign 200. It will be done by this line, that is self.mylist index. Index is 4 and we want to assign a value as 200, that we are passing here 200. So at 4th location 200 will be set, and we are just printing newly updated list. So output will be at 4th location 200 will be printed and the other elements will be as it is. This is the example of getItem and setItem. So next is public and private data members. Public data members are the variables those are defined in a class. We can access them from anywhere of the program by using dot operator. And private variables are the variables those are defined in class by using double underscore as a prefix. And these variables can be accessed only from the class, not from the outside of the class. So this is the example. We have defined one class, and first class we are passing parameters as a 10 and 20. As soon as this is done, this initialization will be done. So here we are creating one object. We are assigning a value to the object variable as first value, that is 10. Just check the difference. Double underscore is given over here. Meaning is this num2 is our private data member or private variable. So this is done over here. So this num1 is the public data member and the num2 is private data member. Now here on the next line you want to display the data. Once this method is called, we want to print self.num, that value is 10, and the self.__underscore num2, as this is a private member and we are accessing from the class, it will give us a result. So first two results for these two statements will be displayed here. From class method num1 is, from class method num2 is. Now after this line we want to print value of p1.num1. p1 is the object and num1 is the value that we have passed as a first parameter. So it will, as num1 is our public data member, we will be able to display the answer as 10. But as here you can check the difference. This ___ num2 is our private member and we are trying to access it from outside the class. So it will give us an attribute error saying that this attribute is not a part of this class. Why this error we are getting? Because we cannot access private data member from outside the class. If we want, actually it's not a good practice to access the private data members from outside the class, but if we want, we can access by having this syntax. That is, we can write an object name, then name of the class. So this is given as a single underscore and double underscore over here for the private variable name. So it can be done the same example, only difference is instead of writing p1.num2, we have written single underscore first class and double underscore num2. This way we can access and print the private data members also. This is nothing but the protected data member, we can say. So we can display the private data member outside the class by using this protected abbreviation, that is single underscore class name. The remaining part we'll study in next class. Thank you.